flying back to the UK is an absolute nightmare right now. Now, John, obviously, you're a British expat, so technically, actually, you're probably an immigrant. I'm a British expat living abroad as well. And I guess from time to time, you have to go back to the mothership, don't you, for births, deaths, marriages, and all the rest?
Yeah, let's just, for the sake of things, yes. Well, to make things easy for this video.
Well, I do at least. Okay, John, if you don't want to go back to the mothership, that's your choice.
I haven't been back in a very long time.
If you want to go back, John, not that I think Blighty particularly wants you to come back, but the mothership calls for me. And I tell you, the testing regime that the UK government has put in place is, I think I have to choose a British way of saying this, quite taxing. I'd like to pick other words.
So in fact, it's an absolute nightmare.
Pick the bones. Yeah, exactly. Pick the bones out of this, John.
Yeah,
so,
go on.
I am vaccinated, as you know.
Yeah.
I had a bit of Johnson in me in April.
Yeah.
So I am now fully covered.
Yes.
And obviously there's still a lingering question mark as to whether you could be asymptomatic and transfer, etc. But, fully vaccinated with a fully vaccinated partner and children. To fly back to the UK, one has to take a series of tests before one leaves. Okay, to prove that you haven't got it. But having arrived from the so-called amber list of countries, so that's almost all of the entire European Union list of countries, one has to have booked a test on day 2 and day 8 of a 10-day quarantine. So you have to go into quarantine, whether you're vaccinated or not, and whether the test that you took before you leave show whether you have the virus or not.
Oh, you're kidding me.
So you have to take the test before you
difficult.
Go. It's preposterous. It's anomalous. It's ridiculous. And I am incredulous. And here we are. So I'm vaccinated, coming over to the UK very soon, booked in advance, day 2 and day 8 tests. So you're in a 10-day quarantine, which you have to do. You have to go straight to the place where you quarantine. You have to have a pre-booked day 2 and day 8 test. So even if the day 2 test shows and the test before you go show you don't have this virus, then the day 8 test you have to take anyway. The cost of these tests, and there's been increasing media calls to say that the cost of the tests are ridiculously high, is anywhere between £60 per test to upwards of several £100.
You're kidding me.
So no, dude, and that's one test, and you have to take 2. But if you wish to be released from your 10-day quarantine, because you quite obviously do not have this virus, I mean, how many tests do you need to take to prove it? You have to take an optional day 5 test, which, if it comes back negative, releases you on day 7, but you still have to take the day 8 test.
Oh, that's so British, isn't it? I love it.
It's almost like they don't want you to come back.
Yeah.
But as many people talking about this story say, a significant number of children in the UK have a foreign-born mother, so to speak. So these are families who are quite keen to get back to see grandparents, loved ones, sick relatives, to go back to other countries. The UK is a very global, open place. And of course, we're talking about a country which at the start of this pandemic was resolutely determined to keep the borders open with all of the consequences that brought, which was obviously a high rate of transference from countries where the virus had been. So, caution is obviously the right policy, but a lot of people online are saying that this is just ridiculous. You clearly don't have the virus before you leave, and you clearly on day 2 show that you don't have the virus, and you clearly on day 5, if you want to take that test, can show you don't have to take the it's just a preposterousness inside a ridiculousness. Now, to pick the bones out of this, John, with your series of negative tests, if you want to, say, get your day 8 test, which you have to do before you fly, you can actually take public transport to get there. So imagine if you were a nościciel, that's a great Polish word, a virus carrier. You're quite entitled to take the bus, the train, public transport to get there. And obviously the rules apply. You have to take your mask and all the rest of it. But you could be, one of those nasal picker-uppers that's depositing your gunk around the place, and nobody would be the wiser to it. So how hard did you want to make it to come back to the country that you're a citizen of, a former resident of, with loved ones and people visiting? Now, that's an individual story. It's my story, but I think thousands of families now are facing this fact, which is, well, if they want to come to an EU country or another amber list country, they have to have all of these tests for all of their kids. And John, imagine now that right now on the gov.uk websites, the UK government, somewhere it says there that children under the age of 11 don't need to take any tests. And then elsewhere, contradictory advice says that children from the age of 5 need to take tests. So from the age of 5, does that mean from the age of 5 onwards, or from the age of 5, so 5 up? In other words, from the age of 6. But if you go onto a separate page, it says children under the age of 11 don't need to take tests. To say that this is a riddle wrapped within an enigma might be a understatement. I would say this is a farce wrapped within a crash. I have to say crash. Because I can't think of a word that rhymes with farce that's sayable on this family-oriented show.
Program, yeah.
So is it obvious, John, that this expensive, I'm spending over £500 on tests for my vaccinated family, and apparently some families have spent thousands of pounds to get back. And indeed, this is, of course, taking place in the time where we're seeing that the UK government and various ministers are releasing contradictory claims about whether you can, should, or can be able to fly back to amber list countries. But with millions of visits a year, for example, there were 3.2 million UK visits to Poland last year. Sorry, 2019. I must be accurate. Very important for me. You can clearly see how many times people are going to be shellacking out an absolute fortune. Well, I'm outraged, John. What about you?
No, I think I'm outraged as well. I mean, that kind of money is absolutely ridiculous. Because it's not just the test you're paying for, right? You also have to pay for accommodation. Yeah, you have to go and bunk up in a hotel.
That's for if you come back from the red list. Then you have to be festooned into a small cubicle with your loved ones. And as much as we love our partners and our children, nobody wants to be locked in a small room with your kids.
Oh, no. Anything longer than...
Get enough of that in my Polish flat.
Yeah, exactly. No, I find it slightly outrageous that not only is there contradictory advice given out, but like it's just the fact that you have to pay so much. I mean, 600 quid? That's a lot of money.
I hate to praise the European Union, you know me, staunchly neutral in all affairs, but nonetheless, it is true that apparently in some European countries, the VAT on these tests has been waived in order to reduce the cost for, just simple people who need to get to see their loved ones after months of waiting. However, there appears to be no move for that, despite promises for the tests for the UK to be reduced. So nonetheless, this is an ongoing story. Who knows, by the time this video goes viral, like every other video we ever do, the rules might have been changed. But yeah, I stick with saying it's a farce within a crash. A farce within a...
You'll think of something, I'm sure, Paddy, by the next episode.
I will. Delayed reaction puns are very much in the shower or the bath. I'm the funniest guy ever. It's just, unfortunately, for real, talking to an august person such as yourself, John, I'm lost for words. However, if you want to find out more from me and John, where we're capable of formulating sentences, finishing our puns, and thinking up multiple puns in one sentence, then sometimes
when we're on a roll,
check out the pig episode for several puns.
Oh yeah.
We were gorging ourselves like pigs on truffle for that one.
Yeah,
then all you need to do is come and click on this channel, subscribe to it, and make sure you look out for more episodes of
What's Up Poland?
No tests required.